51 or 2.
From what?
Don't know.
Probably a heart attack, but I don't know. And there he had just built this house on East Main, had this business, and the next, all I
You
know,
have been prosperous to have built that house.
But you're talking about Virginia's husband.
I'm talking about Virginia Whitaker Henderson.
Husband.
She was left
Yeah,
with
she
the
was
kids.
a widow, like 51.
Yeah,
And had all these
and I don't know
kids.
how she got out at Salem.
And she, from what cousin Harold told me, is like everybody on the, I mean, she ran a tight ship,
Yeah.
and they called her Miss Jenny.
Yeah, in the census record, she's referred to as Jenny Henderson.
And they called her Miss Jenny. And that she ran
And
a
she
tight ship.
operated
And
a rental house, apartments or whatever, in Chevrolet for a while.
I don't know how she lived, but she had these kids, and he was dead. And then
How many kids?
Griffin's mother died, and she raised Griffin.
Mhm.
So she had a,
She didn't want Griffin to go. She wouldn't let go of him when his dad asked for him.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Don't you remember?
His
Griffin?
dad remarried, and
Yes, he remarried.
How
and
old
he
was-
wanted to have Griffin back, and he wrote his mother, and she said absolutely not. And Griffin found the letter when he was like in his 70s, and was just heartbroken because his dad had wanted him back,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't know that. Well, that's kind of evil.
I didn't know that.
Well, but you don't know all the particulars.
Well, did she raise
You don't
him
know
all
if-
the way
if
till he got
Virginia
grown?
Whitaker says, he's fine here, he's happy. You go on and have your life. You wanted to give him up.
And she kept him.
She kept him, but you don't know all. She could have been evil, or she could have been
She
looking
could have
out
had
for
him
his
for
best
5
interest.
She could have had him 10 years. I don't know what age he was when that picture was taken with her.
So how many kids?
Well, you have that picture of Grandmama Henderson with Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids?
That's like the only picture I've ever seen of her, though.
Yeah, that's the only one.
So how many kids were there?
There's,
How many brothers and sisters did Granddaddy have?
A lot.
Had
He
that,
did.
had Harold, had Katilra, and one that married a Jordan.
Don't know. It is just very sure.
Well, I didn't know. And one that married a Earthman.
I bet I'll tell you. So that's 6? 6 total.
Probably.
So she had a Virginia named after her who married the Earthman. I bet that was the oldest daughter.
I can't
And
answer.
then Katira.
She had never mentioned family.
I'll look it up.
and when did he mention anybody that had died? He
I
said,
have 7. There's 7 of them.
7.
Which is kind of normal. And that,
Did that include Griffin?
No, Griffin would be grandchild.
And I finally did get a picture of,
See, Griffin was the period that I was in,
Griffin's dad.
and Harold Earthman.
I got a picture of Griffin's dad and Griffin's mom.
Good. Well, I have to, next time, I wish I'd known that for Bill when he,
Do you really? You have a picture of his mom? I'd love to see that.
is that Griffin?
No, that's his dad.
His dad. How about that?
Who is that?
Griffin's
Uncle Matt?
dad. Mm-hmm.
So you have a
Madison
picture
Matt.
of Uncle Matt? Matt was his dad?
Yeah. That's where I got my name.
Can we
Well,
see
I know
that?
that's where you got your name, but Matt, is it Matt or Madison?
No, it's Matt. Matt Whitaker Henderson.
Okay. Is it Madison? I want to see it.
That's because I asked Bill's daughter, and Bill's daughter said it was Madison, but he went by Matt.
Now, he had a nose.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, you never saw such a nose.
That's a no.
That's a big old honker.
Biggest thing I ever saw.
Praise God, we didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a picture.
None of us got that.
Oh, man, he had a nose.
Was he the one that was on the front porch and one
No,
Whit
that was on
said,
the-
That was on Carol.
there's two granddaddies on that front
And
porch. and
Whitaker
I don't
said-
like that one
The
good.
two granddaddies on that porch. Whit was
I
about
didn't know
2
you
years
had a
old.
picture like that.
And your
As he got older,
great-granddaddy.
his nose got bigger.
and his
Well,
brother,
that's why
Uncle
we're
Harold,
ours, his nose
from
is
Birmingham.
ears.
And Whit said, there are two
But I mean, he's
granddaddies on that
handsome
porch,
other
and I
than
don't
that.
like that one's
He's
looks.
Well,
Let me see the
Uncle Harold
nose
and Daddy
again.
discussed Uncle Matt
No,
when he was young. Uncle Matt was younger. Uncle Matt had married, I think he married twice, and both women had money. And they figured that, right at the last though,
Was he the one, he's the one in Birmingham? No?
Uncle Harold.
Uncle Harold was
Yeah.
Okay.
But they thought that Uncle Matt would wind up in the poorhouse. But they finally decided if he ever went to the poorhouse, he'd drive a Cadillac. Because he came back, he made money when he was older. But he was the same type doctor as Daddy was. And he got his idea of Daddy, coming down and visiting with him. Of course, he had already graduated from college, had that much behind him. Daddy went to Kirkland, Missouri, and studied proctology, and it worked for him. And Uncle Matt wanted the same thing he had, and was successful at it.
So Uncle Matt did the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Did he go to Kirkland?
Kirksville.
Yeah, Kirksville, Missouri.
Kirksville? So he became a proctologist too?
Daddy said that they didn't ask him anything after Matt got up there. He was a leader, he was a speaker. They'd call on him to make a speech because he had that talent of speaking, and Cousin Harold got that same talent that Uncle Matt had. And I was over at First Baptist Church many years ago, and Griffin was minister there, and he had his daddy to
And that, I
have
think,
the
they live in
sermon,
that house.
and
You know, at the
did a beautiful
intersection
job.
of North Tennessee Boulevard
No
and
question about it.
and
He had that
East
talent.
Main. You know, for college,
But Daddy always said, give Harold Earthman
you know, it's the
a
college
bucket to stand
band.
on, and he'll draw a crowd.
Down there on
I
East Main
remember
where that red light
I remember
is,
saying
yeah.
that.
There's a store over there.
I do remember that.
Across
I didn't
the grocery
understand it
store.
when he
Because
said
he
that.
had a talent to
And the
speak.
house next to it, I think is where
I absolutely do
she
remember.
lived and died. Mabel?
Huh. Did Griffin have a big nose?
No. He's the only one in the family that had a big nose.
But there, Griffin got his doctorate, and Little Bill got his doctorate, and Jenny's husband got his doctorate. I mean, very much in the religion field. I don't know.
I guess if they were over beyond in those countries that are destroying the Christians, if they asked them, they'd just have to be shot, wouldn't
Oh, they would.
they? Yeah.
Griffin really thought he was going to heaven.
Yeah.
Look at that. She's flirting with you, Kevin. Look at that tail. Matt, look at your dog.
Uh-oh, she's flirting. I don't like you to flirt.
Matt says she's the most precious dog in all the world.
My Duke, that's how I feel about my Duke. And Tipper can come up to give me a kiss in the morning. I have a stool beside my bed, and that's where they go to get me to get up to come feed them. Of course, now they go to Wes first. Wes is the man. But then they get hungry, so then they come around to my side. And when Duke when Tipper is kissing on me, Duke gets angry, gets jealous, and starts, and next thing you know, he's barking, big, loud barks, like,
Really?
get away. And he's got this old man, he's got this male voice, that's, it's so cute. Does the same thing with Wes. If Tipper's paying too much attention to Wes, then Duke can't handle it. Just gets jealous.
But it's Bill's daughter who gave me all that information in the pictures.
Whose daughter?
Bill's.
The one named Mary,
And what is-
Yeah,
what is her
Mary
name?
Ann.
Mary Ann.
Mhm.
Yeah. I see they send us pictures every year at Christmas time, when they were tiny to now. And Mary Ann and William's into the religion too. I thought, well, he'll get his doctorate too.
Well, now tell you something else. You were talking about the different families. Uncle Harold Henderson, who lived in Birmingham, had one daughter.
Cousin Harold had a pretty big nose.
That daughter's name was Martha.
Yeah. You know, I told
But
you
I didn't
about
see
Martha,
anywhere else in his family.
That, who?
but you never did find anything out about it in Birmingham.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
boys, their name's Goings.
Yeah, Harold and Hubert.
Yeah.
yeah, now we met one of them in St. Pete. Wasn't Goins the name of the one who ran the antique store in St. Pete? Do you remember that? We went and met with his mother.
Uncle Harold said he never did, in his latter days, said he never did go to college, but he bought one.
And who was that?
He sent Granddaddy and Matt to school, didn't he? Did he?
Well, I can't answer
Who
that.
was it that said never went to, who?
Well, Grandmama, Jared,
Uncle Harold Henderson, that lived in Birmingham,
Okay.
said he never did go to college, but he bought one.
Oh, I thought it was just.
and he really did buy one.
He bought I've forgotten the name of it now, but he bought the building and the grounds
Yeah.
Was it still
In Birmingham?
functioning?
in Birmingham.
Is it still functioning or what?
No.
It was probably one that was old and
He,
whatever, he bought it.
I'm sure he used it to build buildings on, and he was very successful in real estate. I remember talking about the properties he owned in Birmingham. He always talked to Daddy, telling him stuff, and I just sit by like a stool and listen. And he had over 300 acres of land in Birmingham back then with properties on it, and he had built
Well, the Herald
a
was
bank
an
building
attorney.
on a lot.
The Herald
and
going?
had a
Is it a
50-year
attorney?
lease on it.
A picture of him.
Well, can you say
And
hi
he
to
built
him?
Daddy's house, sent his construction team down and built that house.
Huh. How about that? Here's Harold Henderson, he's an attorney. Goings. Harold Henderson Goings.
How about you have his phone number?
And so who was that? Who's that? How's that kin?
That's Uncle Harold's
Uncle Harold had a
grandson.
daughter.
Uncle Harold had two grandsons. He had one daughter, Martha,
Okay, and she married Goins.
and here's the grandson. He looks like an old
And
man.
Hubert,
Yeah.
Let's see.
Uncle Harold's house was on a hill, and he came in the back street and came down a blacktop driveway and a great big layout
You
and
bet.
behind the
No,
house.
Get in, let him talk.
And Hubert Goins came driving down that hill one day with Daddy was up there with it. And he said, my goodness. Said, and Hubert,
There's his number if you want to call him.
okay, and Hubert Goins was driving a Cadillac. And Uncle Harold said, Well, if you had a rich dad-in-law, you could drive a Cadillac too. Tell his daddy that. But Daddy and Uncle Harold were the best of friends. Oh, they just loved one
They
another.
loved each other.
They sure did.
Hey, where's your little, where's your pad?
Pad that you-
Mama said it took up too much space and it looked.
Well, it had worn out, and he kept all the pages together, had rubber bands and all this stuff.
Well, you ought to get you a new one and put that information on it.
Well, I'll tell you what,
What?
I have put everything on organizers.
I'm glad to get this, because we've often wondered, where are these kids from Birmingham? And what, is Martha dead? See, Giddy had called him now. He's a sweet doggy.
Good Lord.
No, don't stop now. We're on a roll right here. My dog's gonna be sniffing you when we get home. And you too.
Zinger building.
You should.
That might be one of the buildings that they own.
Did you say you left John some food in the refrigerator? What did you leave him? Some meat and,
I put meat in a bag,
yeah.
and then I've got all the other stuff in containers in there.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna fill up your one little piece of paper.
You like your vest?
Looks like it.
You like your vest?
It's a little large,
It looks good on him though.
it does look good on him, doesn't it?
If it was too good.
It looked pretty.
Too
Just lets you
tight.
have to be comfortable.
Yeah, if it was too tight, it'd be uncomfortable.
Well, I've noticed all the dogs are panting, they're hot. Is it hot in here?
Not to me, but I'm not
It's-
the person to ask.
Okay, thank you very much.
There it is. Did you see it? There's a whole man.
But for people
See,
who-
then there's another one
people who
here.
cold, it's probably just our territory.
I don't know which one is older, that one might be older.
Well, let's see.
I went to Uncle Harold's funeral, and I went with Brother Harold, who died just recently, and Brother Albert,
And Albert was sick.
and no, well, yeah, but we didn't know it. Harold was all bent over, just in terrible shape, arthritis or something, I don't know what it was. But I thought, well, hell, Harold won't last a few months. And then he lasted for years and years, because Albert's been gone
He was always
Since
having
19
something, and
Albert died in 1970, so Uncle Harold must have died about 1968.
well, Albert was seriously ill at the time we went to Uncle Harold's funeral.
We didn't know it, not then.
He just couldn't eat anything, crackers or something.
Yeah. But he had,
Well, just think, Daddy, you've been alive longer, you've been alive twice as long as Uncle Albert.
yeah.
And who is that? Is that Martha?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Do you know she was
Boy,
married?
Hartman.
And I guess that's
Yeah.
her parents.
about that?
Cause Albert was always for me.
No, she's gone.
What do you say, Woody? How'd you get in here? Did I ask you to get my name?
Man, I want you to see Martha's picture with her. You know, she was a painter.
Yeah.
Her
She
paint.
said she had 6 children. And she said, thank the Lord, one's a good one.
And I think that one's dated 1932.
Holy cow.
Well, let me ask you this, is Matt serious about this little girl? Who is she?
How did you get to?
You don't know? Googled
It's
it.
the first time I've seen her.
Whitney, what about this little girl Matt's with?
They're, I don't know. On and off, on and off. I can't keep up.
What does this say?
Was she just as
Keep looking.
sweet looking as she could be?
Martha Henderson Collins, 1911 to 2004.
Yeah, her little sister has
How could she get
cancer
that
or something. That's why half her head's shaved. Because her sister lost all her hair.
So she did it.
I thought it was just a style statement, so it's a sister statement, that's sweet.
I guess it's like the pictures of St. Jude, the little kids and the mothers. One mother has her head shaved because her kid has no hair. It's pretty.
Ankatera, I remember this, that Grandmama Henderson ran that boarding house over at Shelbyville, and Ankatera said, oh no, Will, my mother was a lady. Well, what the hell did that have to do with it? But I
About
remember
running a
that,
boarding house, yeah.
Martha Henderson?
I remember that.
Good one. So she died just 10 years ago.
Oh, there you go.
Who,
Martha Henderson Goings
That when,
died in 2004. Born in 1911.
yeah, sounds about right.
that's it,
Yeah.
2004, been dead 10 years.
1930s watercolors.
So we could have gone to see her.
We went back
Collection
there
for
one time.
sons Hubert and Harold Goings.
Mhm.
Love to have some. I'd love to have a painting. That'd be cool. Wouldn't it? She attended the New York School of Fine and Applied Arts, Parsons, before it became Parsons.
I didn't know that.
Returned to Birmingham in 1932. She
That was
established
cool.
a studio
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's.
back at her
So-
parents' residence. She painted, she taught, painted, and she taught painting